Welcome to Meet the Industry. Please have a seat. The show is about to begin.
Good morning, Vietnam! Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll.
So apparently, there's a company, not in India, who offers something called mixtape placements. This is mainly applicable to rappers in the game. What the company does is they offer indie rappers these mixtape placements for a flat fee. Basically, they will make a post on social media from a notable rapper's social media handles asking their fans to tag artists who they think should be on the lookout for. These indie rappers then receive DMs from the famous rappers, which has your typical motivational fluff like, "Are you ready to invest in your career?" and all that. Obviously, the indie rappers are overwhelmed that these big time rappers have reached out to them and they're ready to pay for a chance to be on the mixtape. But of course, there's a catch. These mixtapes are put up on the big rapper boys SoundCloud and they are not really getting that much attention. Means the play count of these mixtape placements is not high enough for the money that was paid, which is an amount like $500 to $600. The problem is that the value for money is pretty much zero. The artists are paying for mixtape placements, and that's exactly what they're getting, but it's a rip-off, isn't it? You're being played if you're paying for this in the name of getting exposure via a big rapper. Technically, this is not a scam, but it's something that's definitely not worth the money. Usually, these easy shortcuts are never the answer for someone who's serious about their career. I believe that if a deal sounds too good to be true, it likely is. On the Indian front, I want to talk about some good music coming in from independent artists. A new single out by Roy and Dub Sharma called Bari Hamari. I love the vibe in there. It's like a laid back rap jam, but with like a clear message in the lyrics. Watch the video. It's pretty interesting, but don't expect flashy cars and bare butts. I'm quite a fan of ambient music, and there's some really cool stuff coming out from Indian producers in this genre. There's a playlist on Spotify called Ambient India, curated by an artist called Yidam, Yidam. And that's where I've discovered some really great ambient producers. I really like this alt rock band called The Yellow Diary. Rock is usually my go to genre, so I'm almost biased to all things rock, but these guys are worth a mention. That track Rab Rakha is one of my favorites. Give it a spin. Now, the landscape of music as a source of entertainment is changing rapidly. We're all attending virtual concerts, right? If someone in the 90s had told me something like this, they'd be out of their mind. So, what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is Twitch. This website is making huge waves in the COVID world that we are currently living in. I know we've all heard of what it does, but my attention is currently drawn to the way Twitch is being leveraged by artists to create art. Twitch used to be mainly for gamers, but now it's a much bigger beast. So check this out. Mike Shinoda has shared a music video for his new single Open Door, and you have to at least watch it. Mike has created an entire album with the help of fans on his Twitch streaming channel. And it comes as a result of Shinoda's online activity since the beginning of the coronavirus enforced lockdown. I mean, wow, this is amazing on so many levels. And this, right here, is the bar. This bar has been set high now in terms of creativity. Twitch is the new tool, it's the new cool tool in the market for musicians, right? Like YouTube was back in 2007. So the point is, we have new technology and it's capable of doing things that we could barely imagine even 10 years ago. And this is the point I want to drive home: technology. Some of the big names today are leveraging technology in fantastic ways. An example of that, this one's actually a promotional campaign and not a album recording, but still a glorious illustration of how technology is being leveraged This event is called Astronomical, on which Epic Games and Travis Scott collaborated for the game Fortnite. The music industry and gaming industry are converging upon the internet to create forms of entertainment that transcend the basic concepts of real time gaming and live concerts. The reason this concept has worked so well is because Travis Scott is not trying to replicate a concert experience in your living room. His team is just leveraging a virtual universe to create a unique artist fan experience. In the end, it's just about how to keep your fans entertained. People have enough new music to listen to, but why are they really becoming diehard fans these days? Is because their relationship to the artist goes beyond just music nowadays. So, like I said, the landscape of music as a source of entertainment is changing rapidly. If you're interested in stories like this, read up about Block by Block West. It's a music festival inside a video game whose name I'm sure you've heard of, Minecraft. It's the new buzz in town, and what they are doing is pretty fucking awesome. Now, the obvious most question as an Indian is, where are we at in all this? And the answer to that is quite far, but not light years away. The way I see it, our country is an emerging market, and if you've been abreast of current affairs, companies like Google and Facebook are banking on India's growth now. If you're paying attention, you will spot that I'm driving home the point about technology again. You're probably thinking, why emphasize technology so much in a podcast about music? Well, I can't help it. What's the one thing our musicians turned to during the lockdown? Streaming. That is technology. Like I said, we are not light years away. Indians are adapting and we are good at it. But in the technological race, we are just early adopters, not industry leaders. So, coming back to my question, where are we at in all this? So, in an article on First Post on June 25th, journalist Amit Gurbaksani says, while a few promoters and artists have experimented with staging gigs on Twitch where fans can donate, the service hasn't caught on in a big way here, at least for indie musicians. So, what I'm saying is, adopting live streaming was simple. Monetizing it is another story. From what I've read online, it seems like we do have a handful of artists playing virtual gigs and getting paid for it, but by and large, they are sponsored events either by brands or corporates. Instagram was the platform of choice initially, even Facebook and Zoom, but things were changing soon, and for two reasons. Number one, quality of sound and performance, and number two, revenue. A website called Skillbox came along and became probably the first website in India to live stream concerts on its own website. They managed to deliver a better audiovisual experience, and these events were, of course, ticketed. Meanwhile, a group of rock musicians in Bengaluru turned their jam room into a live streaming venue with state of the art sounds and lights infrastructure. I think that's amazing. Their customers are not only musicians now, but even companies wanting to host webinars and product launches. This venue is called Streamfini. Streamfini. You should look them up on social media. It's safe to say that our independent community is seriously active on streaming platforms, and the lists of artists and organizers here is not short. If we are to really understand the music business, then at this point I think it's important to understand how the streaming business works, and not just video streams, but more importantly, music streaming. I would love to have guests up here who can talk on such topics. In my view, though, this virtual gig scene is not a passing trend. I've already demonstrated how artists are leveraging live streams in bodacious ways to either create art or put up performances, and it's going to change the way audiences and fans connect with their favorite artists. I mean, right off the bat, today it is possible for you to tell your fans and friends that you're performing live from your bedroom, and they'll be there to watch you and even pay you for it. It's way easier said than done, though. We don't yet know everything because everyone's just kind of improvising right now, but things are getting quite interesting. Let's talk about some more music coming out in India before I wrap this up. If you're a fan of electronic music, then you just have to check out the new album by Kohra, Kohra, Kohra. It's called Akho, and it's now streaming on all platforms. It's got break beats, drum and bass, and some amazing synth work and sound design. I also just discovered this track by Sand Dunes called 1111. It actually released last year, but it clearly slipped under my radar. But it's been added to my chill playlist now. You should totally check it out. Moving on to some indie rock. When Chai Met Toast, the band, just released their new single Maybe I Can Fly. It totally sounds like I can dance to this one in a stadium full of people. This song is a part of a full-length album called When We Feel Young. The release date of that is yet to be announced by the band, but I'm looking forward to it for sure. Closing this list off with one of my favorites, it's called Jung by this group called Swadesi. The rappers on this one are Mawali and Nar. It's part of their full-length album called Chetavni that released earlier this year, in February, I think. Alright, now, that's all for today. Every now and then, I guess I'm going to do these bird-dogging episodes to talk about what's going on in the world of music, nationally and globally. Hope you liked it. See you next time. Cheers.